Hey everybody, back again. This week we're going to be talking about vision and how we can use vision to help us win the games or be more effective even in a tight spot. For this first little intro part, I'd like to go over the type of vision items there are in the game. So first off, most frequently used is a stealth ward. So we have a maximum of 3 of these that we can place. And then after it places it, will turn invisible, so you can't see it. The enemy won't be able to see it. Next up is a vision ward. Now, a vision ward will reveal stealth objects. So, if an enemy were to put a vision ward next to a stealth ward, it would become visible. Now, you'll notice I can only place 1 of these. So you're only ever allowed to place 1 vision ward and up to 3 of these stealth wards. There's also a few other items that allow you to place stealth wards. So the pill coat is a jumbling item, and what it upgrades into will also place down vision wards. So the pill coat and the spirit of the ancient golem both place down these wards, and it's the exact same as a vision ward. It has a 3-minute cooldown, and then this item has a 3-minute cooldown. And then the Rigorous Lantern, I don't want to use that quite yet. So don't use that. Yeah, so the Rigorous Lantern plays the exact same way as the Quill Coat and the Spirit of the Ancient Golem. You're able to place down a ward. Oh, crap. Well, whatever. I didn't want him to find me, but he managed to. Anyway, this allows me to show you that after you get 30 kills while you have not the Hunter's Machete, but the one above that one. Hunter's Machete, once you have this item here, the Madred's Razor, you'll start gaining stacks for Wriggle's Lantern. And you gain stacks by killing the largest enemy in any jungle camp, or killing or getting an assist on a champion. And once you have 30, it does a lot of really nice stuff, but the range of your vision is increased. So let's see. So now I'm able to place it all the way over here. Now you notice this ward I put down first will go away as I put down this third one. So this just keeps us to only having 3 wards. And then the last item is the Ghost Ward. The Ghost. The Ruby Sightstone, which is upgraded from the blue Sightstone. Why not see? It's only 800. Here it is. So just a Sightstone. Both of them place down stealth wards, just like the first. And again, as I place down more than 1, they disappear. Now, some champions also have warding abilities. So for instance, Maokai, he has a sapling toss, which places down a ward. Or like a Teemo, he's got his mushrooms to place down a ward. Ashe has an arrow that reveals a portion of the map. I mean, there are a lot of champions that have vision granting abilities. And all of these are tools that we can use to help us win the game. Throughout this episode, I'll be highlighting the tools, the plays that can be made with when you have accurate vision, and how helpless you feel when you don't have the vision you need. And I know we've probably all been in a situation where we just can't see, and it just feels dangerous to go out anywhere. If there are any comments that you have at the end of the video, please feel free to post them. I would love to answer the questions. Feel free to like and subscribe to this channel. I need all the help that I can get. Alright guys, get ready. So to start off, I wanted to show you a little bit about Summer's Rift and how turret control equates into the vision that you need. So you only really need vision in your jungle. Obviously, you don't need it in your lane. Your turrets are taking care of that. So what you really need is it in your jungle. So when we first start off the game, we have all three turrets on the second turret. All outer turrets are up. So we only have two places on both the top side and the bottom side where the enemy can enter your jungle. So usually if the mid laner is warding both of his river bushes, it will cover this nearest, the pathway to this nearest point. And then the covering green, the green dots are places that you should ward. So top lane should ward this river bush, which will block the path from anybody trying to enter your jungle through this way. Same thing with bot lane. Occasionally, if they skirt past, they can actually get into your jungle still. So you might still want to put a ward here in your tri-bush. So this next frame is going to be after you lose your first bot turret. We'll notice that there's still really how much of this map you control is less, obviously, and then coming into the area you control, there's still only two. But in order to cover everything, so to cover this objective, this red, you're going to want to put a ward here in the bush, and to protect mid from getting ganked from behind, you're going to want to put a ward here, as well as here. Just because mid is still going to be in this area and doesn't want to get ganked from the side. Now as your bot lane pushes forward, you're going to want to ward this, just to ensure that they're not coming through here and getting down. So with these two wards combined, you effectively lock out any traffic through this bottom portion of the jungle. Now let's say we lose that second turret in the bot lane. You're going to have now more places that your controlled jungle is susceptible. And we kind of see how these three wards are still in the same place. And with mid, they really should still ward here. But it's also pretty smart to ward up here. Not like they're going to be running up through here, but just to protect bot lane, you're going to want to put a ward out here. Alright, next we're going to go over the mid lane. When it falls back, when you lose that mid lane turret, you lose a huge portion of control, and we see that we have a lot more entry points for the enemy into your jungle. Again, with this bot lane, these three bushes right here are pretty much standard if you want to maintain control in the jungle. And then this one, right behind Wolf, is new. So we keep that warded. It pretty much does the exact same thing as when we were warding the river bush by protecting this route. And it essentially just locks down everything. Now as top laner, you're going to still ward this bush because you're going to be pushing out here, but you're also going to want to ward this tri-bush for the same reason that this bottom tri-bush is warded, because they could still come in. It's a little bit harder because you have to go through this turret to get there, but it is a possible ganking location. Now mid gets pushed back again. We see there's a lot more areas that can be entered into your bot jungle, but top jungle is still pretty much the same. You have this ward, and it's not as safe to. And then you're going to want to ward this one on right next to blue. Keep an eye on it, because with middle as far pushed in as it is, it's really easy to get into steal their blue, and this will work if you flip it around. So if you are playing purple, you're going to want to ward this bush if your mid lane gets pushed in for the same reasons. Now we're going to go into top lane and what happens as they get pushed in. Pretty much, you'll go from putting a ward out here in this bush to putting a ward up here in blue. And you may want to put a ward here just to protect your mid laner, but this one should be sufficient. You just gotta play a little bit safer. So I guess that one's optional. This one right here is a little more optional. So, like it was with bot lane, as you push into this middle turret, you essentially lose all control of this jungle. And these wards are really just to to let you know that people are in your jungle. But really, from top to come all the way out here, it has to be a pretty coordinated effort for that to work. But yeah, this same ward placement. Alright, so this next one is going to be after you use your first turret on every lane. We've added a new color, yellow, and these yellow wards are going to be for either advancing or for covering objectives. So like you see this one here in the Baron pit, protect Baron. And then his blue, he wants to push up, they want to push up towards the enemy turret. You're going to want this one, this ward here. And in the next couple slides, we'll show a good advanced ward placement. And then, because of the danger now that you find in your jungle, you've basically lost this entire front part of the jungle. So with your wards, you're going to place them a little differently. You're not going to place it out here unless you're pushing it out here, but you're going to place one in this bush across from the golems. And then this one, so you can still keep an eye on red, but you don't have to risk coming all the way out here. And then for top, you have the same placement. Alright, this next one is called a turtle. So the turtle phase it looks dire. Most of your team is quitting out on you, but you still can pull it around. I mean, I've pulled out many a win from the turtle position. You're going to want to keep just on the other side of your walls warded, because skill shots can still come across. They can go in between these lanes pretty easily, and it's just dangerous if you're coming out and their whole team is hiding just on the other side of that wall to get the kill. Now, these green dots are going to represent forward position, so as you're pushing out, you're going to want to put those wards deep, because who knows when they're going to come and you're going to have to back off. So if you have that deep ward vision, that deep ward coverage, you're really going to be able to push back after they've come to push you out. So these yellow ones here are when you've actually pushed back past the river. So pretty much, if you're in turtle position, you can forget about dragging, unless you have good ward coverage and you know that they are not there. With Baron, you're going to want this one in the river, just to keep an eye on them. So you can go in for a team fight before they get Baron, or you can try taking other objectives while they're distracting the Barons. Alright, these blue dots are where you're going to want to ward if you're pushing out, if you're split pushing. So this one, obviously, just like when you were in bot lane, this one protects you from the river. This one protects you from either this way or that way. And then this one is actually really nice, because you can watch them walk between lanes through this way, and you can easily look out for ganks. And then this one is pretty obvious, because it's so easy for them to sneak around and come and get you if you're pushing this mid lane forward. This ward right here does the same thing as this one, as it gives you coverage of the main traffic lanes, and it will also give you vision on their red buff. Alright, so say we're winning, say we're not losing. You're going to want to keep vision on these objectives, so you're going to want to keep vision on Baron and vision on Dragon. You're always going to want to get them when they're up, especially if you're winning. Just because you're winning doesn't mean you stop taking objectives. This one's a pretty commonplace, because as you're pushing up this mid lane, they're going to be trying to come at you from behind. So if you can see them before they get there, that's ideal. And that's again what this one's for. These blue ones are now, instead of pushing mid, you're pushing an outside lane. So you're going to want to ward that tri-bush, and this bush opposite red, and then this bush next to blue, and their tri-bush, if you're going to push on the flanks. But generally, when it comes down to it, most plays are heading up the mid lane. You definitely want to keep those two covered so that you're safe. This isn't in place of your own wards. This is during your advance. You're still going to want to place wards in your jungle to protect your own buffs. They're going to be looking for any chance they can to take them. Okay, so some things that I noticed in my gameplay this week, I really enjoyed what this Warwick does. So I'm here to help him leash, but right before we leave, he puts down a pink ward. And like I was saying before, pink wards won't disappear, so that ward is just going to be there until somebody finds it and destroys it. And that ward is actually going to really help me out later, because I'm the top laner. We're going to watch as we see Vi is walking around. So we're going to see that this pink ward really helps me out after this Vi leaves to come back top. She's actually going to cross right past that pink ward, and then my ally is able to ward thing that for me. Now I don't have a ward in this bush, which leaves me completely visionless. But I was on edge beforehand, so it really. Well, she failed her gank, and I failed to ward that bush. So pretty much. Okay, for this next part, I really just wanted to show you how effective warding can really just shut down your team. So this, I'm playing on blue team. We can see how much vision we have. Yeah, we just have that one ward right here, blue. And now if we switch over to purple team, they have our entire jungle warded. They have more vision in our jungle than we do, which is sad and humiliating. We end up getting smacked around this entire game. Alright everybody, that's pretty much all you need to know about vision. Knowing your different types of wards, your stealth wards, your vision wards, basic. Knowing where to place them is key to winning. There's a common misconception that only supports place ward. If you're playing like that, you're playing it wrong. Everyone should be warding. The team vision leads to team victories. If you ever feel like you're not able to see what the enemy's doing, you're not going to know what to do yourself. So I suggest just whenever you feel like you don't know what's going on, ward, and then play it to the counter. As always, hope you guys had fun. I had fun. I'll catch you next time. I'm going to leave you with one clip from the Big Plays video that will be coming out this week, and I hope you enjoy. So this last big play is solely responsible for the vision that we have in this river. So this Wukong is coming through, and our team is already pinged that he is missing, that he's coming that way. And the second he's seen over here, we get another ping. So let's watch how these two handle this situation. It's currently 3v2. They were able to take an effective defensive stance, and have been able to hold long enough for this Annie to get all the way down from mid to get the double kill. All because of good warding.